Okay, so once more, good afternoon. I want to thank all of you for being here, those of you just joining us. For those of you who are joining this meeting for the first time, my name is Ari Obenson. I'm president and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis. I woke up this morning to the rude reality that today is September 11th, and with today being September 11th, we cannot, forget what happened in this country 23 years ago that continues to have an impact on our lives, the way we live our lives. But that it's a day of remembrance of those who lost their lives as a result of the attack that took place here in the United States, in New York and Washington, D.C. and in Pittsburgh. Earlier this morning, I know there was a commemoration of remembrance of those who lost their lives in that incident. And we just take a moment here to also reflect on that. But it's also a reminder of the work that we do, bringing people together, looking beyond the obvious labels and obstacles that we have placed on ourselves. It reminds me of just what we celebrated in this community, the Festival of Nations, and just how diverse that group, the audience was. And for a moment, we forgot about the labels that have been placed on ourselves. For a moment, there was no one ethnicity that was regarded over another, no one religion. It was just a community that came together. We must count ourselves lucky to live in a community that can bring people together this way. And that's the kind of St. Louis that we want to have. We want to continue to build because we know what, how dangerous the world could be if we're not embracing diversity. I just wanted to just remind us and hope that we continue to reflect on that and think about those who lost their lives in that incident. I'm also very, very grateful to everyone that came out for the Festival of Nations, that supported the organization, that has supported us in any shape or form in the last month. I want to thank you for your continuous support to the International Institute. In this meeting, we're also going to be highlighting what we are experiencing. This year is going to go down on record as an outlier. Maybe an outlier, or maybe this is the new normal. But we're seeing the highest number of arrivals into this community than we've ever seen, at least in the last 20 years. Whether it's arrivals in terms of refugees, arrivals in terms of the walk-ins that we're seeing, the secondary migration that we're seeing in terms of the Afghans, the Latino outreach attraction that we're seeing that's bringing people into this community. St. Louis is the International Institute and St. Louis is welcoming a significant number of people into this community. That comes with its own challenge, but it also comes with a long-term opportunity for the community. The challenge is the reason why we are on this call, to share with you what we're experiencing so that together we can overcome those challenges and create a pathway to prosperity in this community for everyone as we provide the support that is needed for our new arrivals. We certainly cannot do that alone. We count on the support of each one of you, whether you're a staff member of the International Institute or you're a community stakeholder that is supporting the work of the International Institute. We're deeply grateful for your help and for your support. Our agenda for this meeting today is going to include an update on new arrivals. It's going to cover the upcoming launching of the Giving Society here at the International Institute that we're going to talk about. We would have, and we're going to continue to see this feature as part of this meeting, an update from the Office of New Americans. This is really good for St. Louis. So our special guest Gilberto Pinella is going to give us an update on that. We would touch on this Missouri House Special Committee hearing that took place, an update on and a recap on the Festival of Nations, upcoming events, community shout-outs and opportunities. And as we go along, if there are questions, we will be happy to answer those. Before I go into resettlement, I just want to take a moment to welcome on the team of the International Institute, welcome on board our new Vice President for Client Care, who is Kelly Laura. Kelly Laura is coming in to replace, for many of you who knew, Ariel Burgess, who's retiring. Kelly effectively started as Vice President here at the International Institute on September 9th. So Kelly, if you want to come up and just say hi, that's fine.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be at the Institute and look forward to working with you all.
Great. Thank you very much, Kelly. We're looking forward to working with you as well. At this point, we're going to go into our new arrivals updates. This is going to cover resettlement, walk-ins, the Afghan support program, the Latino outreach. So I would turn this over to our Director of Resettlement, Asmira, to talk about our resettlement update.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, our fiscal year is ending on September 30th, and this was a historic year for the International Institute. As of today, we resettled 1,277 individuals, but by the end of this month, that number will increase. I'm not sure for how many refugees will be here in St. Louis. In 2016, we did resettle 1,154, mostly Syrians, and in 2000, we resettled 1,558, mostly Bosnian. It must be noted that our arrival list changes on hourly basis, and very often we receive only notification 12 to 24 hours of change or additional arrivals. From January until now, we mostly resettle people from Afghanistan. We resettle 283 people. From Congo, we resettle 216. From Somalia, we resettled 102. Recently, there were some demographic changes in our arrivals, and we started to receiving people from Latin America. Last month, we received 51 individuals. We expecting the first quarter of our fiscal year 25 to also be very busy, and we are expecting around 500 refugees to arrive before New Year. For our next fiscal year, we are expecting to resettle around 1,900 people. We are preparing for the high arrival season, and we are looking forward to welcoming the new arrivals to our city. Of course, with numbers of arrivals that we are resettling right now, we are facing also a couple of challenges. One of them is the housing. So that is very important for from community to let us know if there is anybody who is renting apartments and they are willing to work with us. I know there is a slide with information regarding housing manager, so please let him know if you have any or you know anyone who is willing to rent for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asmira. Your team has been hard at work. Last month, we recorded 198 arrivals last month. And this month, September, it's probably going to be about 200. So we probably would exceed what we did last year. It's incredible. I want to thank you and the resettlement team for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, besides just resettlement, because resettlement is the arrival of refugees and the work that we do to support them for the first 90 days, we're also seeing an increased number of walk-ins. So you can see on the slide, it shows walk-ins from July and August, and you see we had 58 individuals, about 30 cases in July. In August, we had 65 individuals with 41 cases. And as we look at September, as of today, we've seen 16 individuals with 11 cases. These walk-ins are primarily coming from Ukraine, Afghanistan, Haiti, and Cuba. But we're seeing the highest number of Cuban and Haitian arrivals into St. Louis than we've ever seen before historically. So that's something that we're keeping an eye on. These Haitians and Cuban arrivals do benefit from some of the programs that we have here at the International Institute. And so we continue to give them support in that regard. And that's it for walk-ins. We also have the Afghan support program that was designed 2 years ago, essentially, to attract the Afghan population to St. Louis. And we have the director for that program, Moji Siddiqui, that's just going to give a quick, brief overview of that program and just give us an update on where we are with reference to the numbers of arrivals and some other activities. Moji?
Thank you, R.A. So many of you, I'm sure, have heard about the Afghan support program that was launched February of 2022. But for those who are just now hearing it, I'm so happy to report that in the past 2.5 years, we've been able to, as part of the grant Afghan support program, establish an Afghan community center, an Afghan Chamber of Commerce, which is called the U.S. Afghan Chamber of Commerce. We've distributed 10 $15,000 coding class scholarships and put them through that program through Claim Academy. We've distributed over 600 phones, which are in partnership with T-Mobile, and already prepaid up to 24 months and include unlimited hotspot for up to 7 people. Also, we have distributed 200 new iPads to 200 families. We also put together a 24-week soccer program in partnership with St. Louis Football Club and partners with our MLS team, St. Louis STL SC Soccer Club. We do have an Afghan entrepreneurship grant program that has a total of 10 grants, and a little bit more about that. I'll chat about that in a little bit here. And then we have a substantial housing fund, which has been utilized to support secondary migration. As a result of the success that we saw in the first 2 years, we expanded on the housing fund to support secondary migrants to come to our city. We also hosted numerous events, including 2 large events, which were 2 Eid festivals in 2022 and 2023, which included up to 1,100 guests that were able to enjoy the festivals. We've also put out 19 issues of the Afghan Journal, and we're very proud of that work and the team that works very hard in the communications team here at the International Institute, as well as our Afghan editors that work very hard to publish these monthly journals, which are published in English, Farsi, and Pashto. As a result of the success of the first 2 years of the Afghan support program, we then were able to, in partnership with the funder, to do a national and international outreach program, which is where we are right now in the 3rd year of the Afghan support program. We can move on to the next slide. A little bit about the numbers. We have been able to, since January of 2021, leading up to today, resettled over 1,300 Afghans. Now that's resettlement numbers plus secondary migrant numbers. Through our secondary migration, which started September of last year, so almost a year now, we've been able to, through secondary migration, through our program, support over 400 Afghans to resettle into our region. And we see Afghan families coming into our city on a weekly basis. And there are more folks that are coming into our city outside of our program as a success of our program. So this is monumental because the whole point of the Afghan support program is to make St. Louis a space for Afghans to resettle to, because we know that after August of 2021, over 100,000 Afghans were brought to the United States almost overnight. And we want them to choose St. Louis as their new home. And no other city around the country is doing the type of work that we're doing in creating a embracing and welcoming environment for the Afghan community. Next slide, please. So something that we're working on as part of the Afghan Entrepreneurship Grant Competition, we've had now a total of 4 rounds, and we've been able to distribute 8 total grants at $15,000 each. And just recently on Monday, we had the round 4 pitch presentations. And so we have 3 more winners, bringing them to a total of 8 Afghans who've only moved into the country since 2 years. And now 8 Afghans are being supported by the International Institute's Afghan Support Program, and all receiving $15,000 to start a business. Now, in this effort, we've been creative in encouraging the women to see themselves as owners. And I'm happy to report that we finally have a woman who will be receiving one of the $15,000 grants. But in the effort of getting creative, we've allocated one of the grants, so one of the $15,000 grants, towards what now is going to be the Afghan Women Sewing Project, which is starting later this month, September 23rd, and we have over 35 women who've already signed up to be a part of this program. Now, this program has a long-term goal of not just teaching women how to sew, but hoping that incorporating financial literacy and business startup classes into the program, that by the end of the program, the women will start their own businesses, small businesses, and become tailors, or in whatever capacity, whether they'll do it as a group or do it as an individual. So more to come on this. We're very excited. We will be teaching these classes in both Farsi and Pashto, and we have it lined up to where there will be, at this point, 3 cohorts. So we're excited. This is going to be great. More to come on this as time progresses. Next slide, please. So HEC Media TV has created a documentary and basically documented every step of the Afghan migration into the St. Louis region. And of course, a lot of that is our work here at the International Institute being documented, as well as our partners who have worked alongside of us, and we couldn't do the work that we do without them. And so we are screening this documentary called Gateway to a New Life on October 27th here at the International Institute at 3:30. This is going to be a free event, so you're all welcome to attend it. I would highly encourage that you do attend it. We will have a second showing in the next coming months, which we'll give more details about. But again, I highly encourage that you attend a Gateway to a New Life showing at the International Institute. It's a free event. It's very inspiring and very moving, but also really shows that the migration of Afghans into the St. Louis region in the past 2.5 years is extremely impactful and monumental work, and I would encourage everybody to attend it. Next slide, please.
Thank you very much, Moji, for that update on the Afghan support program. Looking forward to the screening, but really impressed to see the number of Afghans that continue to come to St. Louis who went to different parts of the country. We continue to see that, and I know that this is a program that will continue to attract Afghans to St. Louis. Next would be our Latino outreach. So as we talk about arrivals, we've mentioned refugee arrivals, walk-ins, the Afghans and secondary migration that we're seeing. The Latino outreach is also intended to attract the Latino population to St. Louis, which is key to us reversing our downward trend in population in this community. So I'm going to call on Vice President Carlos Ramirez to update us on the Latino Outreach Initiative.
Hi, everyone. It's Berenice
Oh,
Forrest.
Berenice.
Carlos, unfortunately, is not able to make this meeting. He apologizes, but I will be stepping in for him this today. So just a quick overview of what is happening here at the Latino Outreach Initiative. As you can see, our numbers here. At the moment, we have 279 excuse me, people in the Latino Outreach program. And you can see a breakdown of the groups that we are bringing from around the United States. Most of the people that we've brought in are from Chicago. At the moment, we are bringing people from Boston, and most of the people that we're bringing from Boston are Haitian. One of the things that we have been very lucky with our Haitian clients is that most of them have been in a Spanish-speaking country before arriving to the United States. So that has made it easier for our team, as no one on our team, unfortunately, speaks Haitian. And so as you can see here, we have 279 clients currently in our program, and there is a wait list to bring people in from other cities of 250. And so similar to what Esmira was saying, we are also struggling with housing. So that is kind of where we have kind of just struggled to find housing for those 250 people that are currently on that wait list. Another thing that we are seeing with our clients is that we have a lot of clients that are coming in through our doors. Ari was talking about walk-ins. We get a lot of walk-ins with Colombians and Nicaraguans who have been living here in St. Louis for about a year now. And we are able to help them to get their work permits, which is great for the workforce here in St. Louis. And it allows them to have legal, have that, and so that they're able to have better jobs, and that they get their 40 hours benefit and that sort of thing. So we cover all of the costs for a work permit, and then hopefully they are able to get a job that is that they're able to have to kind of help them resettle themselves here in St. Louis. Next slide, please. I'm not sure if there's another slide for this presentation. Okay. So at the moment, we are continuing to work with these cities to bring people in from these cities that you see mentioned here on the slide. One of the things that Carlos is going to be doing is he is actually going to Cuba. I believe he's going to Cuba. I want to say it says here on the 20th, but I feel like he's going to Cuba sooner than that. I think he's going to Cuba actually in the next week or the week after. And so we're going to, he's going to Cuba to kind of mention St. Louis as a potential place for the Cuban immigrants that will potentially be coming to the United States at some point, and just getting the word out that St. Louis is here for them. And so Carlos will be traveling more around the United States to just let people know that we have this incredible program, but not only that, to let people know that St. Louis is here. Is there another slide?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Berenice, for that update on the Latino Outreach Initiative. 250 people waiting to come to St. Louis. When we started out this program, we had this lofty goal of bringing in 500 people. It seems like that target is within sight of us attaining. Obviously, I know that we're very focused on people that have their work permits to work in the United States. That's one of the guiding principles of this program. But we also want to ensure that we do not bring anybody here without housing. So that explains why people are in the waiting list, so that we can make sure that everything is set up. And in many cases, some of these people are already coming with jobs lined up for them before arriving St. Louis. That's another very interesting twist to this program. And so we're inching towards the goal, but I think in the long run, it's going to trigger even the migration of other Latinos to come to St. Louis, because they have relatives and friends who are successful in this community. They're going to look at the St. Louis as a place where they can come live and thrive. The big challenges that we face, this is a narrative that runs through, is the urgent need for housing that has been highlighted by Asmira. But even more importantly is the funding gaps. By the fact that we're having this number of people come to St. Louis, there is the need for us to look beyond just the federal grants. And we keep asking the community for help so that we can close the funding gaps. We're asking people to volunteer their time. We're asking for donated items that goes into housing. And we're asking also for funding that can help us close the gap in terms of the rent money that we have to support these families, bus passes, food, and all the other things that are needed to support a family once they arrive St. Louis. I call it a worthy investment, because investing in these people, in this new arrivals, is an investment into a future prosperous St. Louis. I want to thank everyone for their continuous support, but those are just some needs that we have. And talking about needs, this leads me to the next item on our agenda. And I'll keep looking at the chat there just in case there are any questions that come up as we go along. And I'll be asking members of the team to draw my attention to that if I miss any. But talking about funding, we at the International Institute are looking to launch a giving society, and I'm going to invite our Vice President for Development, David Gonzalez, to talk about this.
Yeah, thank you, Ari. So as Ari mentioned, I'm very excited that we'll be launching the International Institute's Giving Society next month on Tuesday, October 15th. We actually had a soft launch earlier this summer with the Giving Society. We invited people to contribute at the $1,000 level or above to get a VIP pass to the Festival of Nations. And I'm certainly not going to steal any of Adina's thunder. I'll let her speak on that, but it was very successful. So as I mentioned, the Giving Society is really targeting donors to give at that $1,000 level or above. This is very similar to what a lot of nonprofits in this community do, whether it be Washington University's Elliott Society, United Way's Leadership Giving Society, the Zoo's Marlene Perkins Society. This is really an opportunity for us to generate funds for a lot of the needs that we've talked about during the first half of the call. As many of you are aware, we get great support through grants and foundational giving, but oftentimes those grants and foundation gifts are very specific and don't allow us a lot of flexibility. By increasing our general giving numbers, we're able to have flexibility that allow us to do things like provide funds for shortfalls in housing, transportation, those things that are often very difficult to get covered by grants. So we're really excited to launch this. We have had people give at that level before. Typically, we have about 70 to 80 individuals or families give at that $1,000 and above level. This year, we're really targeting to get 100 people, so it's ambitious. We are sending out the invitation to the event later today, so many of you will see that, and we'll actually send it as a follow-up call. Individuals on this call, and highly encourage you to show up to do that. So as I mentioned, not only is this an opportunity for us to build revenue for general funding, but this will allow us to better recognize and connect with donors. As I'm sure many of you know, since the pandemic happened, we haven't had the opportunity to chat with our donors as much. We haven't had the chance to visit with them or have opportunities for them to come to our building and hear about the exciting work that we're doing and ask them to be a part of it. We've also not asked folks to give at this level before. And oftentimes we're out in the community and people love what we do. They feel it's important what we do. And now we're asking them to step up to give at that level to stand with us, to give that $1,000 and to make a tremendous impact. And the response has been great. We have a fabulous committee made up of leaders in the community, as well as former board members. And we expect this to do really well this year and beyond as we go into 25 and 26. Again, this will allow us tremendous amount of flexibility with our resources to help our clients. So the information is right on your screen there. As you can see, October 15th, we'll have a very short program with some remarks from Ari, as well as a client who's been helped. I'm also very excited. We have a Bosnian dance troupe who will be performing and will be showing us some steps. So it'll be a very interactive evening with food, drinks, and dancing. So I don't know what more you could ask for. So I hope you can join. And if you can't join, of course, we'll still accept your donation. I know that was a question for many of you. So feel free to donate, even if you can't go. But of course, the best way is to show up and actually donate. So that is it for the Giving Society. You'll be hearing a lot more about it. We will have a special thank you event at the beginning of next year that we're planning. So you don't want to miss that. It's exciting. We're working on maybe a special guest. So more to come on that.
Thank you very much, David. Looking forward to the Giving Society launch. That obviously would be of great help to the organization. Well, next we would use this opportunity to welcome the director of the Office of New Americans at the City of St. Louis, Gilberto Pineda.
All right, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and thank you for everybody that's participating in the meeting. I wanted to start giving some reports out of what the administration is doing in order to make St. Louis stronger, healthier, and safer. And I don't have any slides to present to you today, but hopefully in the next meeting, I'll have some more information. This just came about within the last week that I wanted to do this. And so we're scrambling to put things together. And I was at the Keel at Enterprise Center earlier today doing a day of service with the team. So it's really packed day. First of all, I want to say congratulations on a great Festival of Nations. You kick it out of the ballpark. Did a great job. I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm in community. And I saw so many people welcoming, being welcoming representatives of St. Louis, welcoming our new arrivals and experiencing our new arrivals culture, our different cultures. So anyway, I wanted to start first with some reports from the police department, because as I continue to hear that crime, the perception of crime in St. Louis, especially with the resettled communities, it's really a negative, and people don't feel safe. And I just want to let you know that crime is down in St. Louis, and I cannot say that enough. We cannot say that enough. So when people are resettling in St. Louis, please assure them that we are doing what we can in order for them to be safe and to feel safe, and they know that they belong here. So in reference to crime, in 2023, at this point in time in August, we had 109 homicides. Today, we have 106. The violent crime is down 2.2 from last year, and the property crimes are down 12.6 from last year, which is a good positive move. And then other crimes are down 6.3%. So it is important for us to let you know that we are working extremely hard to make sure that everybody feels safe. Also, the clearing rate from the St. Louis Police Department, it is at 66%. So these are clearance rates on homicides that are happening in the city of St. Louis is at 66%. Last year in 2023, it ended the year at 75% clearance rate. but we are right now, to this day, we are up from 2020, which was at 52.3%. Another thing that we're doing is that we're working with the San Luis Police Department on the U visa certification program to make it faster, more expedient, and to make sure that we take care of our victims of crime that qualify for the U visa program at a faster rate. So in the past, we were doing like 2 to 3 applications every 4 to 6 months. Since April, when we started conversing with the San Luis Police Department, and we have a person that is dedicated to expedite the certification process through the U visa programs, we've seen 40 certifications being approved so far. So we are moving faster, and we will continue to move faster in making sure that those certifications are approved. Another thing that I want to mention is that we're working diligently with the Office of Violence Prevention to not only be integrated into and be a partner of community with different organizations that are working with refugees and immigrants that are coming in. And I know that they visited the International Institute and so forth. We're also working with them to make sure that there are a variety of languages offered in every and all information that they put out there, and that they start customizing programs to make sure that our resettled communities, they feel that they are a part of what we're doing for crime prevention. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is that, of course, I don't know if you received the letter, but I sent a letter to most everybody, because we had the immigration committee having that hearing at the beginning on September 3rd. The mayor is very committed to make sure that we continue to work on making San Luis a place where our new Americans belong. And she's very committed to fight this discrimination. So that letter was very personal and intentional, and we will continue to support in ways that we can. And the last thing that I will say, and this is not on my notes, but talking about the housing situation, we have begun the path to explore what changes we need to make legislatively at the city level in accordance to all the laws that we have and regulations from the state and so forth, to accommodate changes on the ordinance when it comes to occupancy. Now, this is a long journey, but I just want to let you know that it is an intention that we are beginning that path, and it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of work, but our legislative director is already looking into what we can do to get the Board of Aldermen to change the law. Okay, and that's all I wanted to say. Again, thank you so much for giving me the space, and congratulations on all the work you do. And we are very much interested in continuing this to grow this partnership and make sure that we make San Luis a safer, stronger, and healthier place for our new arrivals and our new Americans.
Great. Thank you so much, Gilberto. We'll never forget what we can do when we work together, what we're capable of doing when we work together. And working together we are. Thank you very much. I received that letter over the weekend that was sent to the committee, that it was heartwarming that we had the support of the city in those conversations. We also have been working with you and the city to identify housing opportunities that we can hopefully we're going through that process to find hundreds of apartments that may be available for our new arrivals. It's been great to have this office, and thank you for stepping up and doing this with us. looking forward to this being, a permanent part of this conversation. So more of our stakeholders can know how we collaborate and what we're doing together. We're going to quickly go on to, I know the conversations around this Missouri House Special Committee on Illegal Immigrant Crimes, which Gilberto referred to in the letter from the mayor in his presentation. I will turn this over to the Marketing and Communications Director at the International Institute, Chrissy, to talk about what happened at that hearing.
Thank you very much, Ari. So as we've discussed in previous calls, and as you may be aware, the State House of Representatives did create this special interim committee earlier this year. And so they are, rounding out right now a statewide listening tour. So they've been having hearings and listening sessions in cities around the state, from Springfield and Kansas City and St. Joseph and a number of others that have already happened. Last week was the hearing here in St. Louis on September 3rd. And so the International Institute, we were there present. We provided written testimony. We were aware ahead of time that the committee, and kind of based on how the other hearings have gone, they've been very, very focused on data and references. And so we wanted to ensure that we had our best shot at clearly and concisely delivering information and data. So we did so in written testimony. That said, we did also have presence there just observing the hearing itself. And as I noted on this slide, there were 22 individuals who gave verbal testimony during this hearing. It did last for 5 hours. It was quite long. And, to that point as well, people had kind of time limits on the amount of time they were allowed to speak before the committee then could provide some questions. Most of the folks who did provide verbal testimony were there, had similar value alignment with our organization and were, there to speak on behalf of and from their perspective as immigrants, and the kind of implications of what a committee like this may, what kind of outcomes it may have, and what that means for the immigrant community here in Missouri, and what it means for, or what kind of impact it can have long term. So there were, Casey has just dropped that link into the chat, but you can actually watch the recording yourself. Again, the video lasts for 4.5 hours, which doesn't account for some break time that was in there. So it is quite long, but you can also just kind of do a quick scroll of the transcript that YouTube provides as well, to kind of see what all sorts of voices were there. Largely, there were a lot of individuals, a lot of folks who are immigrants themselves or who have backgrounds in working with immigrants. Several representatives from different immigrant service provider nonprofits. There were religious leaders, labor organizers, and law enforcement as well. So a wide range of topics were covered. And yeah, it was a lot of good information was gathered, and a lot of the committee's requests were for written submissions to come as well afterward with details of statistics and more data. With that said, there's one last session that will be happening in Missouri for this committee. It's going to be in Cape Girardeau on the 17th. And then what will come after that is that the committee will be producing a final report that will be summarizing their findings. And this is not confirmed, but it was mentioned by the committee that they're possibly going to have a final meeting in December in Jeff City, following the publication of the report. So we're keeping our eyes on that. Obviously, we're very interested in what the report and recommendations are that come out of this committee. And just generally a thank you to the community. There was a lot of support. A lot of folks showed up. A lot of good information was shared with the committee. And so I appreciate everyone who participated in that session.
Well, thank you very much, Chrissy. Thank you for you and Blake representing us on that committee. And our hope is that this does not become a distraction from making St. Louis the world, and Missouri to that extent, the welcoming place that we want it to be. And that's really how the intervention from the International Institute, and I believe from the city, was really focused on. Obviously, crime is crime. We want to address it, but that shouldn't distract from the kind of narrative that we want to build for our community. Thank you. Festival of Nations, and I know we're running out of time, but Festival of Nations is you know, it was such an incredible success. I want to thank Adina and the team for the work that I can't say thank you enough for the events team and the entire team at the International Institute, our board members that supported, as well as the hundreds of volunteers that made this happen. Thank you. Adina?
Yes, as you said, Ari, we just want to say thank you to everyone who participated. If you want to go to the next slide, Casey, we just have some impact numbers. We're currently working on a festival impact report that we hope to have done by mid-October. But here are some preliminary numbers. We started a VIP launch party this year for the first time to just kind of kick off festival weekend, and we had 306 folks attend. We sold 598 VIP Oasis weekend passes, and we had 106,000 festival attendees this year. This was up from 87,000 last year. We had 17 sponsors, 19 community partners, 530 community volunteers, 93 International Institute staff participated and volunteered throughout the weekend. We had 443 performing artists, which made up 81 groups performing on 3 stages. We had 160 vendors and 53 exhibitors. So it was a full park, a lot of food and entertainment and fun happened. So we just want to say thank you to everyone who came out and participated. The event would not have been successful without any piece of this puzzle missing. We can go to the next slide. We have a couple of things coming up. The festival really generated some interest in the community. So what we are doing is hosting an introduction to community partnerships meetings this Friday at the International Institute from 10 to 11:30 a.m. There's a QR code if you would like to RSVP to come. This is just a space where you can come and learn more about the Institute and how your organization or business can get connected in the work that we're doing throughout the year at the International Institute. So that's this Friday. We would love for you to come or invite a friend if you had someone who was new to the Festival of Nations or Institute who wanted to learn more. This is a great space to come on Friday and learn more. And we can go to the next slide. So we have a couple of events. This week, we are partnering with Music at the Intersection. We're supporting our friends at Kranzberg Arts Foundation this week with Music at the Intersection. So that kicks off tomorrow with Maddie Places. So we have 11 businesses in Midtown that will be hosting different events. And there's yoga, there's floral bouquet making classes, there's food tastings, and then on Friday there's a bunch of panels happening at the .Zac building. But we are excited to be the official after party host on Saturday evening. So this is our flyer for the after party. Tickets are $20. Doors open at 9 p.m. It's 9 to 1:30. We'll have 2 DJs, live performances, and a hookah rooftop bar. And then next Thursday, September 19th, our friends at Four Hands are hosting a thank you party for all of our staff, volunteers, vendors, and artists. That will be at the downtown location from 4:30 to 7. This is free to attend. There'll be appetizers and happy hour pricing on drinks. So if you're available, please come and celebrate with us. We would love to have you there. And then the next slide. We just want to say, like, we're super excited about Festival of Nations and next year happening, but what we're really excited about is to pull our partners into the Institute through Festival of Nations 365. So be on the lookout. There's some new possible partnerships and programs coming out of this meeting on Friday that we would love for you to get connected with. So thank you so much for your support. It was an amazing event, and we are looking forward to doing it again.
Great. Thank you so much, Adina. Exciting. The festival continues to grow. We have some upcoming events, but I'll just quickly turn this over to Moji Siddiqui to talk about our Fall Inclusion series.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so as part of our multicultural affairs efforts, we are hosting our second inclusion speaker series panel. The first one took place in spring, and the topic was around issues of women and how can we create opportunities for women to thrive. It's an interactive type of panel. It's more than just our lovely, incredible, esteemed panelists discussing important topics, but it's more so designed to use the audience as the ones that create solutions for our city's growth and vibrancy. Now, the Fall Inclusion series topic is how can we make St. Louis a multicultural city now? And this event is going to take place at the Hall of Nations at the International Institute this coming Monday, the 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. And we have civic leaders, a Congolese leader, our very own Hilberto, Susan Gobo, and one of our volunteer leaders that's been part of the International Institute and Festival of Nations for decades, Karen Heitzman. Would love for you guys to attend. It is a free event. Of course, we encourage that you donate towards the work that we do and encourage people in your network to make a contribution to our work. But please do attend and RSVP. If you scan the QR code on this page, the link to RSVP is up. Looking forward to seeing you and coming up with solutions to make our city a multicultural city together. Thank you, RA.
Thank you very much, Moji. And coming up next is our community bazaars, and I'm going to invite our Director for Economic Development, Carlos Suarez.
Thanks, Ari, and hi, everyone. Our next community bazaar is going to take place on September 20th, also featuring, given that it's Hispanic Heritage Month, we'll have a food vendor, Tacos El Paisa, providing lunch to the community on the 20th, as well as our partners with St. Louis Metro Market with access to really fantastic fresh produce, not just for our clients, but for the community. And we're also thankful to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for their food, for staple items that we're providing to the clients and community as well. We also have a great sponsor, including Hacking Immigration Law, that they're supporting our community bazaar. And community partners that are also be there, including Great Rivers Greenway and the YMCA. I'll mention we did in our last bazaar had a job fair component that was a great access point for employers that are hiring talent coming through the International Institute, and for those that are looking to continue that, I'll hand it over to Anna Hall there. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, thank you for the introduction. Wanted to just highlight that we have been hosting job fairs, as Carlos mentioned, in collaboration with the bazaar. These are employers that we've been working with and are sure that have open positions that would be a good fit for our clients. Leading up to the bazaar, we're having job fair workshops. So clients are getting a training about what to expect from a job fair experience. And just last Friday, we had about 50 job seekers here engaging with employers and talking about job opportunities. If this is something that you or your organization has openings and would be interested in participating, first and foremost, we do need a job order form from any employer that is wanting to share their opening and interest in working with us. So that link is there on the slide. The next upcoming job fair dates we have are October 4th and November 1st. We will continue to look at our ongoing basis of offering this particular job fair into the coming year as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Just quickly, in the interest of time, I'm going to just quickly say the welcoming week is the 13th to the 22nd of September. We have several activities going on. The Missouri Office of Refugee Administration is going to be having several activities running that week. We're going to make sure that we share this slide with you all so that you have this information after this meeting. We also have an office in Springfield that is also going to be doing an event. It's called the Culture Fest in Springfield. It's a miniature festival of nations that is growing as well as our office in Springfield continues to grow. So if you want to take a ride to Springfield, you can travel to Springfield on September 28th and be part of the Springfield Community Culture Fest. Quickly, I know we have some shout outs here and volunteer opportunities. I'm just going to invite Kelly Moore, who is the Director of Community Outreach here at the Institute, to quickly go over the shout outs and volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
Kelly?
Good afternoon. Thank you. All right. This picture here is staff and I when we welcomed Gadalnet, sorry, that brought in over 130 hygiene kits. You can see there they were directly given to clients that next week. So thank you very much to them. We've got RGA. They came and helped with Festival of Nations, but they also have doing a build a wagon drive. And so they've built 35 wagons for the International Institute clients, and they've designated $5,000 to go to the Tau Fund. So thank you to RGA as well. We are always looking for volunteers. We still are looking for volunteers to help with our job interview practices, bus training and benefits assistance, apartment setups, fundraisers, donation drives. If you'd like to host a donation drive, please reach out to us. We're always looking for more items to help new Americans resettle. And of course, grocery shopping. If you'd like to go grocery shopping and would like to do that for some of our new Americans as well, that's a high need right now. Thank you so much. As always, you can donate the gift cards, and here are the contact informations for the people that you need to get in touch.
Great. Thank you very much, Kelly, for that. We are out of time, but I want to thank everybody. It was really a packed session with a lot of information shared. We're going to send out this to everyone so you have it. And please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. But again, I want to thank you all for your continuous support, for being with us, for joining us today, and for working with us as we look forward to the end of the year and the significant number of arrivals that we anticipate. I just want to say we can never do this without you. So thank you very much. And have a wonderful rest of the day.